Compendium of Wraith is almost out, and with the release of this set comes the unleashing of Silver Age. And the question that we are all asking ourselves is, what sits at the top of the heap? What can you play that will win you your Pro Quest, or what do you expect to win at the upcoming calling this weekend? I'm going to tell you, because I've been playing hundreds, I can actually say that, and that's accurate, hundreds of games of Silver Age over the past 2 weeks across a bunch of different decks. And there's a couple of picks here for heroes that you should try out that you may not expect, but we do have to start with the hero you probably are thinking about. Briar does sit towards the top, if not literally at the pinnacle of this tier list. If I was making a tier list, a full tier list of this entire format, Briar's probably sitting up there, maybe alone or maybe next to a couple of the other heroes I'm going to be talking about, but she is the first and foremost most powerful hero currently. Yes, it was chained before this, and now of course it is yet another Runeblade. Runeblade passes torch to Runeblade, passes torch to Runeblade. It's a tale as old as time, and Briar continues singing it because she's just the best at putting numbers down, and in a way that makes it hard to deal with, because it's in some cases just physical damage at like tricky breakpoints at either 4 or sometimes 7, and sometimes that's 7 and you don't actually know that it's 7. And then other times they're just sending lots of little tiny chunks of arcane, and you don't know that's going to happen until you're 2/3 of the way through their turn, when they've already sent 2 arcane split across 2 different things. I should have pitched earlier. What was I thinking? And you get stuck in that sort of grinder that Briar can just put you in. This is the de facto best deck in the format, but there are a litany of other heroes and archetypes that can go alongside of her. So let me give you one that's coming on very strong right now, and one that has honestly blown me away and is worth picking up and playing. It is none other than Fi. Fi was incredibly underrated for so long in Blitz, in Commoner, and really all of the young hero formats. Fi has, what am I saying? Fi has done nothing in any format for like 2 years. Like since Fi won Worlds, Fi has been relatively punchless in the world of Flesh and Blood, and yet here we are in this brand new format, and honestly, Fi is so stinking underrated that I would be hard-pressed to say I would pick this hero to win the calling this weekend. It's honestly surprising how effective this hero can be, and not just in the aggressive way, but also being able to go toe-to-toe with decks that are trying to fatigue him. Now, Fi is susceptible to disruption, susceptible to being fatigued, but the best players know how to take Fi and set up the Phoenix Flame like cycle bit that they can do and push through fatigue states. And if you get Fi to a low life total, sometimes you just win because they have 2 blocks, but you gotta keep in mind that if you give them any number of cards in hand, they can just string together the most insane set of combat chain links. So I am really impressed with Fi. I will be doing a lot more testing of Fi going forward because I am so high on this deck, and the fact that you can just take the literal Silver Age precon of Fi, of which I have the Bravo one sitting here for Friday's video, but you could take this version of the Fi deck and play it in the calling and like be very successful. Honestly, you can honestly do that with this one as well too. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but that is crazy. Like, this is a very, very potent hero in this format, and you should not sleep on this guy. The other heroes that you shouldn't sleep on as well, we'll save those for just a minute, because we also have to talk about another very powerful hero in the format, and that is Kayo. I did not believe this. I didn't buy this. I was kind of really more focused on the Rhinar side of things, because being able to prevent these like fatigue slop decks from just doing their thing by taking away their defensive tools felt very powerful. And yet it's not necessarily Rhinar that sits as the best brute hero. It's Kayo. Kayo is the de facto best brute hero. He can put giant numbers in a format that only commons and rares. He like accentuates how good commons and rares can be for a specific class. Kayo shows how to put number into another number, but number is better than normal, like better than just about any other hero. And Kayo is one that, I mean, I think made 2 copies in the past top 8 last weekend at the world premiere calling. And I think it's going to continue to do that, and respectably so. So put some respect on Kayo. And it's Kayo that actually single-handedly makes me a little bit more worried about my next sleeper pick because of Kayo's capacity to kind of tamp down this hero to some degree. And that is Dromai. Here's the thing. Dromai is one of those decks that I have been spending excessive amounts of time playing. And I think Dromai is a fantastic sleeper pick. Minus the Phi and now maybe like the Kayo/Rhinar matchup, whichever brute ends up showing up. Like if you're running into those heroes, Dromai maybe not the pick for the event, but if you're not running into those heroes, you're pretty much golden into everything else. Now I say this, and there's going to be someone down in the comments below, whoever you are, I see you, I understand you, and I know you. But you're wrong. Dromai is favored into Guardians, period, end of story. Dromai can be built in such a way that she is very successful in the late game versus versus Guardians that want to fatigue. I somehow combined Guardian and fatigue to make guitar. I don't know, figure that out. I guess after working all day, this is what you get. This is the version of me that you get. Now, she loses to Ira. She loses to Phi. There are bad matchups for her, but the fact that she has a space where she can target a certain portion of the meta makes her a fantastic sleeper pick. And again, there are people out there that are sitting here saying Bravo Flattering Showman is just going to stomp on her. That is the only Guardian that actually, in my opinion, gives her pause because of the ability to go dominate and to dominate and to dominate. Bravo is one of those successful heroes. It's been a long time since we said Bravo's name at the top of like a leaderboard, but Bravo is one of those strong heroes I would expect sitting at top tables as well. I thought Oldhim was going to be the Guardian of choice in this meta. I thought Oldhim was going to be the hero that we would all be, complaining about. And honestly, you can still complain about Oldhim. I think that's always okay. But it turns out it's Bravo Flattering Showman that's the best Guardian that you have available to you. Plus or minus a Pleiades. Someone's going to always say Pleiades, but I think Bravo Flattering Showman clearly the best Guardian. And look, you can take this right here and you've got the best chunk of bones for a Bravo deck. Like honestly, you don't even really need to change much with this deck. I'm kind of burying the lead, but I'll talk about it more tomorrow. That deck, very potent, very powerful. If you know how to play it, if you can figure out how to execute your lines, and if you tech correctly for the meta you're going into, Bravo Flattering Showman can just win you your pro quest and could honestly just make a nice little top 8. But you do have the issue that you're going to run into of a deck trying to fatigue the Guardian. And the deck that can most easily and comfortably do that, I think, and still pivot on a dime is... Why do we even have this up? This is incorrect. Hold on. I'm so sorry. There's an actual card I need to put on the screen here, and it is called the Decimator Great Axe. I don't know if we can get that up on the screen. Go ahead and put it on the screen. Okay. Apparently you have to spell Decimator Great Axe wrong so that it shows up. Thank you for putting it on the screen. This is the real hero that we were all talking about. Look, there's a lot of people that are going to complain that this exists, but there's like specific things that will stop this hero that you can see right over there from existing. And yet this also serves a functional purpose within the meta to prevent like other fatigue decks from just becoming awful, terrible things. I don't mind Decimator Great Axe, and specifically I'll stop being silly. Dorinthia from being a good deck. I think that's super cool. I think it's super fine. I don't mind playing Decimator Great Axe myself, but you do also have to realize that there are very specific counters to a deck like this, one of those being Dromai. Your axe can only kill one dragon a turn, essentially, and if you are just going to try to aggro them out, if you're built with some defensive tools as Dromai, you win that matchup just every single time. So if you're out here dooming about Decimator Great Axe, you don't have to doom for very long. It's a very good deck. It could go toe-to-toe with some of those fatigue, like Guardian slop decks, but it loses to things like Dromai if they're present, and also... You know we were going to say it. You know it was going to be on there. If you've watched in any way, shape, or form this channel for any number of years, you know if I can talk about Kano, I will talk about Kano. Kano right here. What's there to say? What's there to say? I played 20 games last night with a new list on Kano. Before that, I played 46 games on my previous list of Kano. I've played almost 100 games of Kano over the past week on Talishar, and this deck is just good. This deck is just so good. Is it the best deck in the format? Yes. No, it's not. It's not the best deck in the format. Hear me out. But it is quite potent into most of the other decks with very specific, just almost doomed, hopeless matchups. Like, for example, if you want to beat Kano, play Fi. I hate this hero if I'm sitting across the table from them as Kano. This is not a good matchup for Kano. There are also other hyper-aggressive heroes, like Kayo can be kind of scary. I think we win a lot of the other matchups if we're playing as Kano, but there are hyper-aggressive decks, and there are very, very slow decks that can try to prey on Kano and out-life gain them, or just rush them down way too fast for them to deal with. But that being said, I think Kano's place in the meta is actually fantastic, and he's doing the Lord's work. He's preventing Decimator Great Axe from being too oppressive, and he can also just like kind of sneak in and kill a Briar before they're too annoying. And he can stop like slop decks like, Oldhim or Bravo Flattering Showman. So I think Kano is the balancing point for this meta. He's like the necessary evil that keeps the entire plate from toppling over into chaos. Kano is the reason the meta is good right now. So just keep that in mind when we vote next season, because without a hero like Kano, who knows what could happen? It will be pandemonium, cats and dogs raining from the sky. But also, Kano's very good, and you should definitely learn him if you can, and I will release a guide on how to play Kano, because this version of Kano, some of the most fun that I've had since Blaze left us. Sorry, I had to pause for a dramatic effect right there. I am so hyped to play more of this format. There have been times where I've like said, I need to make a video. And then I'm like, nah, I think instead I'm just gonna play Silver Age. That's dangerous. That's a really dangerous thing, but it is the enthusiasm that I have for this format. So if you wanna see more Silver Age content, leave a comment down below with what you wanna see. Do you wanna see guides? Do you want to see deck text? Do you wanna see gameplay? Do you want to see a tier list, a full tier list of this entire freaking format? I don't know. Leave a comment down below. And then, of course, if you want to see more, make the number go to the other number. Because if you don't do that, the number doesn't go to the other number. And what the heck?